Hi, this is Chris Howard, host of Plugged In with Chris Howard. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. With the largest selection of odds on everything from Major League Baseball, NHL, and UFC, and professional golf, BetOnline remains the number one source for all your sports wagering info. In between games, head over to the BetOnline's casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Monsters have been a part of folklore and culture throughout history and are often used to reflect personal fears and social concerns of the time. Vampires may serve as a metaphor for anxieties surrounding life, death, and giving in to our deepest desires. For some, Frankenstein's monster is a terrifying example of what could happen when you replace nature through science. And ghosts can play with our fears about mortality or unresolved issues from the past. And while these monsters, along with others like werewolves and witches, zombies and clowns, are usually meant to frighten us, there are always some exceptions to the rules. Imagine a vampire whose deepest desire is chocolate. Or if Frankenstein's monster was bright pink. Or a ghost that scares himself. Believe it or not, they are out there. And since these monsters go with Halloween, as well as cereal goes with marshmallows, that's why this week's On Brand is on General Mills and their monster cereals.
We're all jazzed up, nearly having a cow. What's your favorite show? And it's on right now. It's on brand.
Welcome to On Brand with Jon and Marisa.
I'm Jon.
I'm Marisa.
Welcome to the official Halloween episode of On Brand.
Boo. Swerving into traffic.
We look psychotic right now. You are a homemade alien. I'm assuming this is not an IP I'm familiar with.
This is a new character I'm working on. Oh, he's going to be big. You'll see him. You'll see him in lights.
I find out you have a licensing deal. This is how they're first testing it out. So
yeah, Halloween Horror Nights next year. I'm going to get my own haunted house.
Oh my God. If we go to Halloween Horror Nights, are you going to wear that?
Yeah, I'm wearing this every day until Turkey Day, baby. Gobble, gobble.
You can't see me right now, but I have come as a Target basket with products. And you know, I sweat in just a thin tee.
And you're stuck with your arms akimbo, which seems quite uncomfortable.
My arms are akimbo. Oh, wait. I did.
Jon is reaching off camera. He's grabbing something. Oh, boy. In this Target basket that Jon is dressed as is a giant can of Diet Coke plushie and a box of Franken Berry cereal.
Is that going to work? If I just stay like this?
It looks great. We've really lost it. Haven't seen a dime. Doing this just for the love of the game.
I paid for these things. I'm actually out money. We need to have some sort of like GoFundMe for costumes and props. Man, this is kind of, maybe I'll sleep in this with my jeans. I feel very like.
Oh, you're quite swaddled.
I'm very swaddled.
I have a question. So you have a Diet Coke plushie that's right now your neck is resting on. Is this something you had on your bed or did you buy this for the costume?
This was a gift to me from my friend Patrick for my birthday a couple years ago, and it's just been in my bedroom. And last night I was like, I had planned to just come as the Target basket. I randomly saw it at Target, and I was like, Target this year has an entire aisle of just Target-related costumes.
Wow, that's when you know your brand's successful.
Yeah, you can be, and they have like a candy bag that's shaped like a Target basket. They have like a costume for your dog. You can just dress up as like a Target employee, like all these things. And I was like, this is so
red polo shirt and khakis.
Yeah, except really cheap, like
polyester.
Yeah, very thin polyester smock. I just thought it was so funny to be a basket. So I was just going to wear the basket and be like, I have become the product. But then last night I was like, no, I was like, I should have like something on my head, like broccoli or something, like, so then I'm a thing.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I started looking and everything was like, get here Monday and it's Sunday. So I didn't have time for that. So then I was like, I have that pillow. I was like, I'll put that in there. And then when I was leaving today, I was like, oh, I have the cereal that we're talking about too. So
perfect.
Here we are.
Excuses are like assholes.
I just love...
They're all beautiful.
Wait. I do love that this show allows me to buy things.
Yes, that is the last thing you need is an excuse to shop. Well,
right.
This is so cute and so fun. I love any excuse to dress up for a party. Yes, I am an alien. And this is our Halloween episode. So what a perfect brand. Franken Berry. Am I right? Do you have a story about this Halloween cereal? There was a time where I accompanied you, I think, to Target to return Halloween cereal, like in February.
No, I don't know.
No?
Well, that might. I mean, honestly, I don't remember. There's so many stories of me doing things like that. I do tend to only buy the cereal post-Halloween when it's on clearance. It's kind of expensive. 2 boxes of this, $9, like $4.50 a box.
I gotta say, that like bright yellow clearance sticker, it makes me, it's a little unappetizing.
And it's also not as deep as it used to be. Like, it used to be, like, it would get down to, like, 90% off. And it used to be fun to, like, shop after Halloween and after Christmas because they would just have overbought so much stuff and there would be a ton of stuff on clearance. It's not like that now. Now the holiday stuff sells out a month before the holiday even happens.
Sure.
Ever since COVID and supply chains, they've gotten just a lot more probably smart about their purchasing.
But you know what you and me need to get into? Dumpster diving.
You know, yeah.
Wait, what?
No, I haven't done it.
Okay.
But
I know this pause.
No, I have.
Did you get this costume from a dumpster?
Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting to do. I have seen people on TikTok videos that do that at like a Michael's or a Joann's, and they'll go to the back and there'll be like just gobs and gobs of brand new stuff that they have to like slash. There's been some where people go to the dumpsters of like PetSmart and there's like goldfish like in like bags, like live animals.
Jesus Christ, John.
There's nothing scarier than the realities of retail. But they just throw live animals away.
I can't. Listen, we're trying to have fun today. I thought you and me would be getting to like a little pumpkin fleece throw or like maybe a little something candle. I'm not talking about going fishing in that regard.
I'm getting a garbage fish, a beta, those betas. So yeah, maybe we'll dumpster dive. If we do, we'll put it on the pod.
So, John, you texted us on our little friend chain a couple days ago a picture of you in a long line. I think you were in Hollywood.
I was.
On the street. And you said, save it for the pod. So my question is, what was that line? What were you waiting for? What were you buying? What's happening?
I am very happy to report that this week I have added 2 autographs to my autograph collection.
Okay, so we have Arnold Schwarzenegger already.
Arnold Schwarzenegger already.
Still for sale, mint condition, autographed Arnold Schwarzenegger book.
No, Amoeba was doing a signing. That's where I was. I was at Amoeba Records in Hollywood. It's our big record store. And Phineas was there. So I got to go meet Phineas, if you're not familiar with him.
The lesser Eilish.
Whoa.
I mean, isn't he?
I mean, Billy would be nothing without Phineas.
Okay.
I mean, okay, yeah. He's like the genius behind Billy.
Oh, so you're saying he's like the owl.
Yes.
Okay, and we're Billy.
But now he's trying to become his own Billy. He's like,
Al, don't get any ideas.
He's going on tour. He just released a new album.
That's fine.
So I went and got that signed. And
Wait, you like met Phineas?
Yeah.
Well, tell us about it.
I mean, it was, it's pretty straightforward. You wait in a long line. I mean, they were very efficient about it. He just stood at a table. You go in, you get your thing signed, then they take your picture if you want. I literally have never had my picture taken.
Why?
I don't care about that. Like, so many people want their picture with this.
But wouldn't that be so fun for you to have a picture of you with Phineas?
Well, I do. This is the first time I actually did it.
Amazing.
So, they just, take your phone and they take the picture and give you your phone back, and it's so easy. And I didn't want to be, the only one that's like, no, I'd rather not have a photo with Phineas.
It makes it seem like you're selling the autograph and you don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I met him very quickly.
What do you say when you meet a famous person for an autograph? Do you feel the need to distinguish yourself as not like the other freaks?
That's what you always want to do. And then literally no matter what you say, you see yourself through their eyes. And he's 28? He's some young guy who's just so talented.
You're dressed in your Target basket with your Franken Berry.
I went exactly like this. I was like, Phineas, nice to meet you. I'm on my way to an event. Don't ask. I can't talk about it.
Let's just say we're both in show business, okay?
Let's just say you and me, we're the same. Everyone else here is
You should have had your Emmy poking out of your bag.
No shit. I should have just carry a small, a QR code that he could scan and it just brings up a photo of me holding my Emmy. But no, I just tell him, like, I just think you're so talented. I always thank them for their time for doing things like this.
Yeah.
He's like,
that's a little bit like just trying to distinguish yourself from the freaks, I feel like, saying, like, I just want to say I appreciate you taking the time to do all this for all the peasants.
No, yeah, I mean, for them. For me, it's like, we could have done this anytime. Apparently my friend Christine sees Phineas and his girlfriend out all the time.
Oh my God.
He lives in Los Feliz, our neighborhood, apparently somewhere between my house and her house. So she says she sees him hiking all the time. There's like a coffee shop that he's always going to.
Okay.
I know.
Well, if that won't get you on a hike, John, I don't know what will.
Yeah, I would hike for... no, I'd hike for Harry Styles. I don't know if I'd hike for Phineas. Because for Phineas, I would like be carrying around like something I wanted him to sign. Now, the thing, they had rules for him. Like, you had to buy his new record, and that's the only thing he would sign.
Did they make you hold a football like the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders do?
I don't even know what that means.
If a fan is taking a photo with the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, they have to be holding a football so that they don't touch the girls. So when you went to take a picture with him, they handed you a football?
No, but you know what? When they went to take our picture, you know where he put his hand?
Where? In your back pocket? If I was a celebrity, I would do that with everybody, and they would feel so like special, like they have a secret to take to the grave.
I wish, but almost as good. On the small of my back.
Oh my God, I'm like blushing. You can't tell because I'm green.
Well, I just felt bad because in my head, I'm like, bitch, it's sweaty back there.
Yeah, that's
but
a swamp.
He just gently put his hand on the small of my back. He thanked, not only did I thank him for his time, he thanked me for my time for coming out.
Wow.
It was just, then we kissed.
I mean, this sounds like deeply intimate.
I mean, I used to feel like I didn't like Phineas. I was like, oh, he seems annoying. But then, like,
Wasn't I just like talking shit on Phineas 2 seconds ago, and you were like, babe, you'd be nothing without him.
Yeah, because now I'm Team Finn. I wanted to call him Finn, but I was like, do his friends call him Finn? Like, that's how, like, I wanted to prove that we're so cash. But anyway, so I got Phineas. And then I also got another exciting one. This one wasn't in person. This was just, like, came in the mail. Coldplay. Coldplay's now part of my autograph collection.
Chris Martin.
Bro, can I just tell you? So they had a new album come out this... Oh, I forgot I started doing Bro last week. I won't do that this week.
I don't think that was like on purpose. I think that was just like came from you.
Bro, you have no idea. No, but Chris Martin, or Coldplay had a new album come out this week, so that's what I've been listening to this weekend. I find them very uplifting. I enjoy them a lot.
It's very flash mob, which is right up your alley.
Yeah, it's like the concerts, everyone's got the bracelets on. He does the thing where he's like, could we please, everyone, I love you. Let's all put our phones away for a minute and like just be present. And I'm like, okay, Chris Martin.
Every time you hang out with us, you have one earbud in on TikTok. Chris Martin tells you to be present, and suddenly it's the gospel.
I mean, he's a little more interesting. I'm not gonna lie.
Sometimes you're halfway through a story to see that earbud sneak in. You know you gotta step it up.
That's how you can tell if I'm enjoying a movie that we're watching. I'll slip in an earbud and just start scrolling.
It didn't happen last night during Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
No, Marissa introduced me to a 1985 classic movie that I had never heard of or seen, starring Sarah Jessica Parker, called Girls Just Want to Have Fun, and I was riveted. It had everything except Swatch watches that I want in an 80s film.
I swear, they must have been in there somewhere. We don't really do a movie recommendation very often. I'm going to tell everybody, Girls Just Want to Have Fun is streaming on Amazon.
They can find it.
You can find it. Find it on your own time. We're busy.
Everyone's going to write us. I can't find it. And I'm going to be at home trying to figure it out.
Treat yourself to the most fun hour and 40 minutes of your life.
Yeah. Okay, so... the monster cereals, what do you know about them? Can you name the 3 famous ones?
Count Chocula, Boo Berry, and Franken Berry.
I love it. You're right there.
I don't think I've ever eaten them.
You can. I have 2 boxes here.
Fantastic.
Do you know the 2 less famous ones?
Goulbert.
Yep, Goulbert. With Burt-flavored marshmallows. I like having this Coke can in here. I'm like literally just resting my head on it. I'm probably going to fall asleep halfway through pod.
You're certainly swaddled enough to fall asleep. You're wearing your favorite pajamas, jeans, and shoes.
I really am. My new sleeping situation.
Yeah, what are the other 2 lesser known?
Well, we'll get to them.
Okay, great.
I just was curious if you knew what they are. So.
No, I'm not. I don't really. This isn't on my like slate of Halloween treats to get every year. I have a few like. I love the Reese's Pumpkins. I love the ratio of peanut butter to chocolate. At Easter time, I love the little Cadbury eggs. But I'm not like a huge like seasonal sweet person where I have like every year I have to get like the certain special thing. Though I am going to town on this Trader Joe's assorted.
Oh, yeah. Trader Joe's
Candy
last year
mix.
started coming out with this little assortment of chocolates so you can pass out for
Oh
trick-or-treating.
my God.
They're like these German chocolates that are like takes on Snickers and Milky Way and I think 100 Grand Bar. And they're, if you have a Trader Joe's, try them. They are incredibly...
They're called Wicked Good. So this is like one of the Halloween candies that I look forward to every year. But the Halloween cereal, I don't know. I go through cereal phases off and on, but I kind of have like my go-tos. And you know what?
Wow.
You know what?
Wow.
Berry cereal, I don't know. It's just not... I don't know. It's never really for me. A Fruity Pebble, a Trix.
The first blueberry cereal doesn't interest you?
I think Trix are for kids.
Maybe you're just scared to eat them.
Yeah, I might just be scared to eat them.
Well, I think I picked it because this is now my 5th Halloween kind of episode for the pod.
Yes.
I just keep doing different like Halloween things. I love it.
I love it.
And this came out on Halloween Day. I did struggle this year. I was like, what do I do for Halloween? And I started to realize like there's not a bunch out there. And then this one popped into my head.
This is great. This is so fun.
Yeah, I was happy to remember it. But I think I associate with them. I don't, honestly, I feel like I didn't start eating them until I was an adult. I don't remember having them as a kid. I don't remember my parents buying them. But I was thinking about them as like mascots. And I think I probably connect to them, obviously, because there's a vampire connection.
Absolutely.
I mean,
yes.
of course. But then also I was thinking a little more deeply about them. And I was like, they're kind of the culture queers of like the cereal mascots.
Definitely.
If you don't remember what a culture queer was, it's a term that was only apparently used in my high school in Ohio for people that at the time are like emo or whatever.
Iconic.
They called us CQs or culture queers. If you're in Westchester, Ohio, you probably know. I wonder if that people still do that. I don't think they do. But yeah, it's like you compare them to like Captain Crunch and Tony the Tiger and
all these masculine, hetero.
yeah, the jocks of cereal. And then you've got
Sure.
like this little ghost and this pink little Frankenstein
Franken
monster.
Berry right now looks like, I'll say it, a penis. What I can see right now poking out.
Oh, I was like, what is she talking? Well, yeah, he does look like a ball sack for his head.
It's very genital, very nutsack pulled through, all ripping your jeans. Something's going on there. I don't know.
I will say, if I am going to purchase them, I will almost only buy them at Target because for the last decade, it seems like Target is the only one that sells them with their original drawings. The new ones are incredibly modern. They are so ugly.
Disgusting.
I just can't stand them. I wouldn't allow those in my kitchen.
Which is so dumb because obviously these are appealing to the nostalgia, the Gen X nostalgia. So like, why are you like making like Franken Berry with like cool pants? Does the new Franken Berry have like cool pants?
Hey guys, Rick, you're working on the Franken Berry update project, so you are giving him cool pants, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking Jankos. The coolest pants right now are Jankos. Some of those like dad sneakers that all the kids are wearing.
Crocs with a bunch of
Gibbets
in
maybe a
it.
Caesar haircut. I'm sure that's back in style.
I mean, I could kind of see a good collab of these cereals with Crocs. With the colors
yeah.
would be so good. The Gibbets would be so good. You could have little Frankenstein brown toes coming up.
I'm sure there's already been 150 emails.
If
between
there's
the two
not,
companies.
can we just have a little bit of that money? Jeez Louise.
Would it kill ya?
The new NBA and MLB season is in full swing, and BetOnline has you covered with the best odds and biggest promotions and live in-game betting on all your favorite teams. Head to BetOnline today to stay updated on all the action. BetOnline, the game starts here.
All right. So before we get to the actual story of our hero cereals, there's a few steps along the way that got us there. So I want to go through those. And I realized that I feel like maybe every 3 months I need to take a trip to Cereal City because I'm finding myself there all the time. We've talked about it in Pop-Tart. I think you talked about it in Kellogg's. But Cereal City, if you don't remember, is Battle Creek, Michigan. It's basically where cereal was invented. You had Kellogg's and all the big cereal players there.
You and me there 8 weeks. We'll figure it out.
I mean, you know, it must smell like flakes, right?
It must.
Like just that strong flake smell. I know I'm getting close.
When the airport doors open, yeah, it hits ya. It hits ya.
I love it. So Rice Krispies came out in 1928. They're released to the public. They're a huge hit. And within 5 years, they've got their mascot Snap, Crackle, and Pop. That's all I'm going to say about Rice Krispies.
Great.
That's like a micro step.
Sure.
1939, however, is really the first step towards getting to the monster cereal. So Kellogg's is looking for a way to sell even more Rice Krispies. So they task one of their employees, Mildred Day, and her coworker, it's Malita, Melita Jensen, with developing new recipes that use cereal as an ingredient.
A professional home economist.
No, say what you were going to say.
A professional home economist.
Oh, okay. So Mildred Day, I mean, you were so close. She actually graduated with a degree in home economics.
I can't believe, is that still real? I feel like that's the only college I could do well in.
Home economics?
Yeah.
I remember having that in high school, and we had to we had to make a pillow.
Mm-hmm.
I think we had to make like a casserole.
Really?
I feel like it.
I love that. I love that you were in that class. We had like a home ec class, but it was like, I think the only thing I remember is that we made a crepe. Like the most relevant food for a 16-year-old to learn how to make is a crepe.
Oh my gosh. We had to make a pillow, and I think we had a few designs to pick from. And I literally did not remember this until this minute. I picked a football, and I think I only picked a football to be normal. Like I probably wanted, I'm sure there was like a chick or like a bunny or something, which I'm sure I wanted more.
A peep.
A peep. Oh my God, my first homemade peep pillow. But I'm like, no, I'll do the football. I'm a jock like everyone else.
Yeah, sure. That'll fool them.
So Mildred Day, she's like this bright, independent woman. She's ahead of her time in the 20s. Like I said, she had graduated in home economics. She goes to work for Kellogg's, where she tests recipes, and she also travels the country. I mean, talk about something that does not happen anymore. Conducting like little cooking schools for Kellogg's customers. So she's like, I guess kind of how they had like Avon or how they had Tupperware parties. Like these brands were really invested in, I mean, because they didn't have internet. They're going out into the communities and like really hands-on experience with this stuff.
That's so cute.
So Mildred and Melita brainstorm, what can we make? They're inspired by popcorn balls because those are very popular at fairs of the time. But they want to make a new treat, and they wanted to use Rice Krispies instead of popcorn. And there had been earlier recipes using puff rice and Rice Krispies, but they were usually mixed in with like honey or molasses. And Mildred, knowing what she knew about food, was like, you know what I think would work better? Marshmallows.
Wow.
Marshmallows.
Wow.
Marshmallows.
I'm seeing Reese Witherspoon playing her.
I'm seeing Kathy Bates, a non-traditional student. So they spend 2 weeks combining marshmallows, Rice Krispies, vanilla, trying out butter, trying all these things out. 2 weeks later, they have basically the recipe that we still use today for what they were calling marshmallow treats.
Wow, that's fantastic. I love to think about a gal tinkering in her shed for a couple weeks.
Yeah, with just like 4, and it comes out to just 4 ingredients. Like, what exactly took so long? I did go through a real Rice Krispie treat rabbit hole about 2 months ago. I made like 3 batches and just chomped on them myself. Wait, you're looking at me like... Anyway, so Mildred... So, like I said, the recipes remained largely unchanged since then. These explode in popularity. Kellogg's puts the recipe on the box. And now, I mean, it's kind of genius. They like didn't double their sales, but they really increased their sales of the cereal because now people were buying 2 boxes. They were buying a box just to have a cereal, and then they were buying a box to make Rice Krispie treats with. It was like literally genius. So that's the story of Rice Krispie treats. 1964, let's get to the second step towards monster cereal. General Mills, their management challenges one of their teams to come up with like a new, unique product using the available manufacturing from one of their 2 most popular cereals, Wheaties. My costume is falling apart. I'm just going to leave that off.
Yeah, leave that off. John lost a handle.
Wheaties and Cheerios. So they basically wanted to use the equipment they had, but come up with like a whole new product. They're like, think really outside of the box if you can.
Oh, I love that idea.
The team, they kind of go off on their own. You've got this guy, John Holohan, and he's a product developer. And he's one of the people from the team. And he decides to go to the grocery store for inspiration, just to kind of see what's out there.
Sure.
And full disclosure, most of the research I found on John in this situation just says he went to the grocery store and saw this and bought it and moved on. So I've kind of had to fill in the blanks a little bit about how I see this going on.
Okay.
But, you know, I've done that before, and I feel, you know, confident in how I think this played out.
Okay. With an Emmy, I think you can take some liberties.
Thank you. I hope Phineas feels the same way. All right, so let me set the scene for you. We're in a grocery store in 1964. So just to kind of give you a visual of that, it's probably smaller than a modern supermarket, probably carpeted. There's just rows, very neat rows of what will become iconic branded packaged foods. You're going to have a butcher there with like a big meat counter. It's kind of a sterile environment, though at the time, You could smoke in it, which kind of
Wow.
would be a little different than what you're expecting now.
Oh my God, you are squeezing your melons and dragging on a cigarette?
Yeah, man, you're squeezing your melons and dragging on a cigarette.
What a time to be alive.
So that just gives you the visual. So John's walking around in the grocery store, and he ends up in the cereal aisle, of course, because that's what he's working on, and he's looking around just to see what's out there. This is the decade that brought us Fruit Loops and Captain Crunch and Honeycomb and Apple Jacks and Life cereal, so there's all these new cereals he's looking at, and he's seeing that, oh, everyone's got these mascots and what's going on out there. And then he sees a box of Rice Krispies, and he starts thinking about Rice Krispie treats and how much people just love them. I mean, his kids love them. Hell, he even has a couple from time to time.
Yeah.
Everybody loves these things. But what makes them so great? He's lost in thought as he continues walking around the store, and he finds himself in the candy aisle. He's staring kind of just blankly at a bag of candy, a bag of Brock's Circus peanuts. And if you don't remember what these are, they're one of the weirdest candies probably in existence. They're a large orange candy that tastes like banana and is shaped like a peanut.
I don't think I knew it tasted like banana.
It's a banana-flavored peanut that's orange. Like, literally nothing makes sense with this candy. But he's staring at him, and his eyes start to widen. And it hits him. Marshmallows. He starts talking out loud. They put cereal into marshmallows to make Rice Krispie treats, and people love those things. But nobody has ever put marshmallows into cereal. He runs back to the office, cuts up the circus peanuts into small little pieces, and puts them into a bowl of Cheerios. He takes a bite. He smiles, he pours bowls for his bosses and anyone that's around. Everybody loves them. Someone in marketing suggests they make the marshmallows shaped like different things, kind of inspired by a charm bracelet. It's a brilliant idea, and the next hot cereal is born, and they call them Lucky Charms.
Wow. Wow. Charm bracelet. I think that was the first time I'm putting that together.
Me too, honey.
Oh my God.
I'm still getting over the goosebumps from that one. Because you know how much I love a charm bracelet. So yeah, so
Bumping
that is
out for days.
That is the origin of Lucky Charms.
Wow, that's really fun.
And another step towards getting to where we're headed. Now, the original, just some little Lucky Charm things because we're here. The marshmallows end up being called Mar Bits because they were calling them marshmallow bits, and they just industry talk, which we like to have, is
sure, time is money. Shorten it wherever you can.
Can you think of what the first, I mean, that might be too hard. What the first, there was 4 shapes in the original Lucky Charms.
Horseshoe,
No.
pot of gold,
Nope.
Rainbow,
Absolutely not.
Shamrock.
Not one.
Leprechaun's
Oh, wait,
beard.
yeah, green clovers. Yes.
Leprechaun's beard.
Nope.
Lucky shoe.
Nope. We're not moving forward until you get all 4. No, you had pink hearts, yellow moons, orange stars, and green clovers, of course. They get a great mascot, Lucky the Leprechaun. They have a beautiful slogan. Do you remember what that is? They're magically delicious, of course. Fun fact, maybe, the cereal, when it first came out, was more like Cheerios than it is Lucky Charms. It was not a sweetened cereal.
Oh, okay.
No, people didn't like it.
Oh.
So they put a coating of sugar on the cereal, and sales took off.
Wow. Alpal's popping that thing straight in the microwave.
Alpal's like over the sink, like trying to scrape off all the cereal on each piece of, all the sugar on each piece of cereal. I can get these plainer.
Al, did you ever eat Lucky Charms?
No,
He says no.
There's no way.
I don't like marshmallows.
He doesn't like marshmallows.
Well, then you'll love this next little bit. General Mills found that sales performed dramatically better if the Mar Bits were changed periodically.
Ooh.
And I'm sure we've noticed our whole lives, every time you see a commercial for Lucky Charms, there is some new shape, there is some new dynamic, some new color.
I know at a point there was the pot of gold, there's the rainbow. They all made it in there at some point.
Let's go through them. They added blue diamonds, they added purple horseshoes, red balloons, green trees, rainbows, blue moons, leprechaun hats, orange shooting stars, a crystal ball, hourglass unicorns, and so on, and so on, and so on.
Wow, those are getting complex.
I think there's been over like 50 over the time. Here is the last question before we leave Lucky Charms. Of the original 4, if you can remember those, only 1 has survived the entire time. Can you guess which?
It has to be the shamrock, right? The clove? No?
No.
What is it?
The heart.
The heart.
The pink heart.
This is such a journey. I feel like I'm on like It's a Small World, and I'm moving from cereal to cereal, like in a little boat in the dark.
I take that as a huge compliment. All right. 1965, third and final step before we get to our cereal. Quaker Oats releases 2 new cereals, and I'm curious if you know these. I feel like I've seen them, but I'm not that familiar with them. They were called Quisp and Quake.
No,
That
I've
doesn't
never
sound familiar?
quisped and I've never quaked.
Yeah, I haven't either. Basically, they were 2 cereals that kind of tasted the same. Apparently, they tasted a lot like Captain Crunch, but the gimmick was that they each had their own mascot, and each mascot was always trying to prove that their cereal was the best one.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, so that was just kind of the thing that our monsters are going to end up doing too. So that's why I mentioned them. All right, so 1969, let's get into this. General Mills wants to create the next Lucky Charms. They create 2 new cereals. One is a rich chocolate flavor that will turn your bowl into a creamy bowl of milk chocolate. And the other one is strawberry flavored. It's part of the whole marshmallow grain concept. And when I saw the picture, and when I look at this, I brought this up to you yesterday. That's why I was researching it. It reminded me of Carnation and Sim Breakfast.
Oh, yes.
Like, was that something that was part of your, like, childhood?
It was a huge part of my childhood. I was a very picky eater, as I'm sure I mentioned before, and breakfast was tough, and it was kind of like anything goes in my house in general. Certainly that extended to food. I would eat for breakfast sometimes before school, chocolate instant breakfast with scoops of ice cream in it.
What?
And I would have that in a blender with a couple glugs of milk, and I would drink that before 3rd grade.
That's just calling a milkshake. So you had a milkshake for breakfast.
With the vitamins and essential minerals.
I just always loved, if you don't remember Carnation and Sim Breakfast, or you're too young or never had it, it was like, when we got it, it was like a box, it was like a multi-flavored box. Like you get a bunch of envelopes. I think it was vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry. I always went straight for the strawberry. And whenever you do that, there's always like, they're like 12 packs of chocolate, 10 packs of vanilla, 2 packs of strawberry. Like it was the flavor I wanted was always the one that there was never much of.
That's so funny. We were so not strawberry in my house.
Yeah. So they've got these 2 new cereals, and they want them to debut at the same time, but they don't have a name for them. They haven't thought of any marketing for them. So they bring their ad agency in, which is called Dancer Fitzgerald Sample, and they task them with coming up with a whole commercial campaign, and they want to really personify the product like all the other CEOs are doing. This is like the 60s. You know, we've talked about the 50s and 60s in food before. This is the same time as Pop-Tarts. Like it's, you know, you have all these new processed foods coming out, and they really want to appeal to children. You have television taking off. They're able to advertise on like kids programs and stuff. So having this character is like this whole new thing that they can like, it can be part of that television like revolution. And so the character becomes more famous in the product itself.
Absolutely.
Even like everybody knows Tony the Tiger. I think. Really?
Yeah,
do
of
kids,
course.
your kids probably
No,
do.
God, I don't know. I mean, is Tony the Tiger still relevant in the cultural landscape? He sure is to me. They're great.
Yeah, I mean, he was just so big at the time.
For the inspiration to Franken Berry, did one of the executives have like the tip of his penis accidentally sticking out of his zipper after he went to the bathroom? And then it was like, hang on, don't move. I have an idea. You can't see what it looks like. I'm telling you, it is the tip of a penis with glasses.
No, I looked. I see. Listen, let's just say I'm concerned about David.
Tell me you see it too.
I mean, sure, you see the, like, yes. I mean, we all see it.
I know, but
it's
just
even got a little pee hole.
The way it's cut off, it's very lewd and explicit and inappropriate, I think, for children.
Hey, get your mind out of the gutter.
That does not help us hiking it up higher.
I feel like I get what it's like to like wear a bra like now, or like a girdle. This thing is really like, it's like I'm shifting my straps and pulling it up, trying to keep my bits and pieces in place.
Welcome to my world, honey.
Yeah. So the ad agency puts a copywriter named Laura Levine onto this project, and she starts brainstorming duos that could represent both cereals. And she says she doesn't remember all the different duos that she came up with, but it was probably like Laurel and Hardy and Tom and Jerry and The Odd Couple and just like classic like duos. And she wanted a duo that had different personalities but could play off each other in commercials, basically. Captain Crunch was the hot guy on the block at the time. He was the new cereal celebrity, and her boss was like, we want something like that. We want something that's like whimsical and funny. So she came up with the idea of parodying Dracula and Frankenstein's monster. She came up with the names Count Chocula and Franken Berry.
Wow.
And she thought it'd be really fun to play with the whole preconceived idea of monsters because, as we know, and I said in the open, monsters are around to like scare people, but she thought it'd be really funny what if you have these monsters that are scared very easily by something really simple like a kitten or a little kid, and they act all tough and mean, but at the end they're easily frightened.
Okay.
And she just thought that would be a lot of fun.
I love how many women are at the helm of these innovations.
I know. This is a very female heavy episode. Maybe and I'm wearing a bra. Like maybe that's what it's all coming together. They're like teaching me a lesson. So she pitches it to General Mills, or they do, and they love the idea because monsters have been having a moment at the time. There was a television show called The Monsters, which had been a hit on TV. Television had started playing late night movies, so Universal was showing all their like classic monster movies, and they were being seen by like a whole new generation. There was a magazine out called The Famous Monsters of Filmland, which was very popular, and like building kits.
Every month you get a monster mag?
Yeah, for like a decade. And then it like came back on and off over the years.
Wow, I bet those are on eBay.
Yeah, I mean, you love Oprah Mag. There's a magazine for everyone.
And thank God.
Even fish, like big fish, like Bass Magazine.
If you go to a Barnes & Noble, the magazine section will have your jaw on the floor.
That's funny you say that. I was at Barnes & Noble a week or two ago.
Why?
Why?
What were you getting?
No, we don't have time.
I told Al this is be at a Barnes & Noble, John. That's not a safe place for you.
I told Al this was a 7-page show, and it's 7.5.
Just very quickly, what'd you get from Barnes & Noble?
A record. 10,000 Maniacs.
Okay.
Boring.
I'll allow it.
Barnes & Noble exclusive.
Okay, John, no.
Royal Blue.
No.
Why is it okay when it's not an exclusive?
Because it makes it seem like you need the music. But I guess you don't because you don't even have a record player.
Oh,
boy. Okay, get back to cereal.
Get back to it. Okay, so like I said, monsters were on the cool list at the time. So General Mills is like, yeah, bring on the monsters. Mm-hmm. So they wanted to move forward with her concept, but it took them 2 years of fiddling around with this. They wanted to make sure that the monsters were very kid friendly and
I wouldn't call this kid friendly.
Wouldn't.
18 and over only. You're going to have to sneak behind the curtain in the back of the video store to get a peek at that guy.
Yeah, we can't seem to find your Franken Berry. Follow me. They go back to a beaded curtain. I think this is what you're looking for.
ID, please. And the way he's peeking, I don't...
Oh my gosh, I'm swapping this out with Count Chocula.
It's time. I need to swap out. It was a different time.
So yeah, they spend 2 years trying to figure this out. They're working with Levine on tweaking her scripts. They hired an illustrator named George Carn, who had drawn the original Trix Rabbit. So he was known in the cereal industry. I mean, he created the very first images of Count Chocula, which are just so great. And then they bring in Bill Melendez to animate the first commercial. And we've talked about Bill before. Oh. He is an animation icon. Let's just go through the bullet points of his career. He won 6 Primetime Emmys, was nominated for 13 more, nominated for an Oscar and 5 Grammy Awards, and directed a little special called A Charlie Brown Christmas, which was honored with a Peabody Award.
Oh, wow.
So they bring him in to do the first monster cereal commercial.
Best in the biz.
It doesn't get better than that. So they bring this guy in to make the first commercial, and it sounds a little something like this.
Don't be scared. I'm the super sweet monster with the super sweet new cereal, Count Chocula.
Biffle, here's the super sweet new cereal, Franken Berry.
But I've got chocolate sweeties for monstrous chocolate flavor.
Well, I've got berry-flavored sweeties for monster strawberry flavor.
Count Chocula.
Franken Berry.
Hi.
Franken Berry.
Count Chocula.
So it's super simple. They're both just introducing their cereal. They will go on to compete in which one is the best cereal. And at the end of every commercial for a long time, they would get scared. That was a little boy walking by.
Don't think I really knew so much of the lore of these characters, that they had a rivalry or that part of their characters is that they're easily scared.
Well, yeah, that's funny you say that because I broke it down a little bit. So Count Chocula, he's a vampire, as we all know, and he's based on Bela Lugosi's rendition of Dracula. Mm-hmm. His flavor is chocolate, and his personality, he's kind of the diva of the group. Okay. He's a little bit more serious, but he's also he's more interested in becoming famous than most of the other ones.
Which one of us is Count Chocula?
I don't know. We'll have to let the freaks...
Let's hear about Franken Berry. Who's he?
Real quickly, the voice of Count Chocula was done by a guy named Larry Kinney, who's still alive today.
Oh, wow.
And he had been a radio DJ since he was 15 years old. He did a million VO jobs. He did TV shows and cartoons. And he was also the voice of Sonny, the bird from Cocoa Puffs, which I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Sure.
Another iconic. I love all these VO people because they're like,
Yes.
you look at their resumes and you're like, oh my God, like this guy was like these 9 things that I know from my childhood.
I mean, truly the richest people in the land are voiceover characters.
So then you had Franken Berry. He was based on
This
Boris.
is me. Whatever you're about to describe, this is me.
Okay, you have Franken Berry. He was based on a penis, like a big, like the director's penis. And that's why, like, the top of his head's usually oozing out always. He's got, like, one drop of fluid. Oh, I've gone too far. No, he's...
Berry juice.
He's he's based on... It's a nut-flavored cereal.
Ew,
okay.
babe.
See? Now you know how I feel.
Wow.
He's based on Boris Karloff's version of Frankenstein's monster. Obviously, his flavor is strawberry. His personality is he's sweet and silly and a little skittish.
Okay.
He's pink. And he likes to think of himself as a tough guy, but he gets scared very easily.
That is true. I do get scared.
He was voiced by Robert McFadden, who was a singer, an impressionist, and voiceover actor. He did a ton of cartoons, including the pet parrot from the Whisk commercials that would say, "Ring around my collar." I don't know if you remember that.
No, I don't.
You don't remember "Ring Around My Collar"?
No.
"Ring Around the Collar"?
No.
Oh my God, it was on for like a decade. It was like everyone doing laundry would get this ring around their collar, like this brown sweat line, and this Whisk laundry detergent would clean that right up.
Is that not a thing anymore? Is that not an issue?
I think it is, but they've just put focus other places, I guess.
Has it been eradicated? Al, you always wear collared shirts. Has that issue been eradicated? Ring around your collar?
He doesn't seem like he would get ring around the collar. I feel like they would say it a lot, like, oh no, he's got ring around the collar.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it was brutal. So then they come out with the packaging, which is awesome, which you can see in the Target ones today. And then they also did prizes, which I'm sure you remember. They had all these.
Yes.
I mean, is there anything better than like a cereal prize?
Digging your disgusting, grubby 6-year-old hands
Yeah,
into the
like-
family box.
Yeah, you just like can't come in from outside and you're all dirty. Your fingernails are black. And you're digging for a little prize. And they would have like posters and stickers, paint sets, vinyl figures. At one time, they were even giving away flexi discs, which if you don't know what those are, they're like a floppy vinyl record.
Wow.
And they would have songs on them. They had a song called The Monsters Go Disco.
I mean, don't even get us started on how bad prizes are now.
Babe?
QR code to a picture of a monster is what it would be now.
Yes, that is what it'd be now. But before we even got to that, they got rid of like physical things, and it would just be like, comes with a scary mask that you have to cut out yourself and find a rubber band or string to fasten it to your head. It was like they slowly walked us to cheaper and cheaper stuff, which to now, yes, I bet 100%. Like, remember you used to be able to mail in for stuff, like save 3 box tops, and you can get like this really cool Frisbee or whatever.
Yeah.
Hopefully
absolutely.
football.
Like a radio. You could get like electronics. Yes. They were
Yes.
giving everything away because for you to walk around with something with a brand name on it was valuable to the brand. And now they don't even care.
Now they don't even care.
It's all about that. The almighty dollar.
Oh, God. And remember, it's like Cracker Jacks. Remember how great Cracker Jacks? I mean, those are before both of our time, believe it or not. But, like, I've seen old Cracker Jacks. Like, you would get, like, a little metal toys. Like, you could, like, collect a whole thing. And then it became, like, a tattoo that you had to, like, lick your own disgusting hand to, like, get it wet. I mean, I guess you could have used a wet rag, which
No,
I also
you had
probably
to
did.
lick it. It
But
said
you
on the box you had to lick it.
lick your hand and then just press this piece of paper to get like some smeared sad tattoo.
Those are like the tattoos that came with, I think it was Fruit Stripe Gum, RIP, recently gone the way of the dodo. It came with the tattoo on the wrapper, but it really was just like extra ink that like you lick and smear on like your dusty kid arm and it's gone.
Yeah,
It's gone
I felt
by
like
that time.
I felt like that one was literally just extra ink that came off the gum itself. And then they're like, what should we call this? This looks like a terrible mistake. They're like, make it a tattoo, honey. Let's go to Cheesecake Factory.
Boy.
So they kind of got everything into place. They had these great mascots. They had great packaging. They had great prizes. And honestly, the cereal is like an immediate hit. Like everyone loves it. Everything is great. Kids are gobbling it up. They're eating cereal like their lives depend on it. And maybe because it does. Because in 1972, a case study is published in the Journal of Pediatrics.
Okay.
The study talks about a 12-year-old boy who was hospitalized for 4 days after being admitted for possible rectal bleeding. The boy's stool had no abnormal odor, but it looked like strawberry ice cream.
Oh, God.
Further questioning of the mother revealed that the child had enjoyed Franken Berry cereal for 2 days prior to his hospitalization. So they did a little experiment. They fed the... I love a time when a hospital is willing to feed a boy 4 bowls of Franken Berry cereal. Like, they're like, nurse, you need to run down to the supermarket. She's smoking a cigarette in the hospital. She's like, yeah, I'll get it on my lunch break.
And it's like, can we experiment further on your son who's on knocking on death's door? It's like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Whatever you want to do. Do you want to give him like a medicine? No, we're going to give him 4 bowls of cereal. I think I have this figured out.
The thing that's nearly killed him.
They feed him 4 bowls of Franken Berry cereal for the next 2 days, which gives him very pink poo.
Oh, God.
There's no other symptoms, no acute distress, normal vital signs. The case study ends up being called Benign Red Pigmentation of Stool Resulting from Food Coloring in a New Breakfast Cereal, a.k.a. Franken Berry Stool.
Franken Berry stool. That's like on the record
That
diagnosis.
is on the record.
Wow, I love that.
Hundreds of mothers would end up taking their pink pooping kids to the hospital, fearing internal bleeding. They had all eaten General Mills Franken Berry cereal, which just happened to be colored with red dye number 2. Do you remember the story of red dye number 2?
No, I know about red. Now it's all 40. What's 2?
Okay, so 2, back in the 70s, red dye number 2 was a synthetic dye that is harmless to humans, but it can't be broken down or absorbed by the body.
Oh.
And it was the most popular colorant in food, in drugs, in everything. They did some kind of flawed test on it and decided to yank it, even though they still use it, I think, in the UK and in Canada.
Oh, really? Wow.
America was like, we got to just pull this stuff. All these companies, as you can imagine, that have relied on this are like, no, you wait, these tests aren't even like accurate. Like, you gave like 8 gallons of it to a rat and he died. Like, if you gave like that much, like a swimming pool of it to a child, yes, it'll probably have ill effects. But the FDA was like, listen, if you can't prove that it's safe, we're yanking it. So they yank it. I kind of remember, because I remember hearing a story, M&M's pulled red M&Ms for a long period of time. They weren't even using red dye number 2, but it had become so like...
People were so like fearful of the red food.
Red food that they just thought it was easier just to get rid of... The red M&M was gone for several years.
Wow, that's
before
crazy.
they finally brought it back, yeah. So that all passes, and with the success of the Monster cereal, they're ready again. These greedy bastards want the next hot cereal.
Of course.
They try to recreate the magic with another cereal duo, this time calling them Sir Greatfellow and Baron von Redberry.
A ball sack and a labia.
Have you ever heard of these guys?
I haven't.
All right, so... Sir Greatfellow is a British World War I era pilot.
Okay, too much already.
I know, bro. It's
Guys.
too much. He's a grape flavored.
We have like 2 minutes before we have to leave for school. Like, let's just pour it in a bowl.
Mom, I want my Sir Greatfellows. I mean, listen, no offense to Al, but I do feel like Al would like them. I mean, it does sound like a proper cereal.
So if I'm Frankenberry, you're Count Chocula, Al is definitely Sir Greatfellow.
And I could see David being Baron von Redberry. So, Greatfellow is a British World War I era pilot. He's grape flavored oat cereal with sweet grape marshmallows, and he would proclaim, "I'm the grapest."
Al, come on, be a little more humble.
He would bicker with Baron von Redberry, who was a German World War I era pilot, a berry-flavored cereal with sweet berry marshmallows that tasted like fruit punch, who would counter, "Baron von Redberry is der berry goodest."
Oh, what's wrong with him?
I don't know. They only lasted 3 years. General Mills.
It's missing a bit of the charm of Count Chocula and Frankenberry.
Yes. They only lasted 3 years. General Mills is like, they scrub them and they're like, you know what? Let's just make another monster.
Sure, yes.
Enter Blueberry.
Kids aren't as enthused about like war pilots and like, they just don't care.
So 1973, enter Blueberry. He's a ghost, as we all know. He's not based really on any sort of like particular IP, but he is voiced to sound like Peter Lorre, who, if you don't know him, was an iconic actor who was known for doing like a bunch of like sinister roles. So he sounds just like that guy. He was the first blueberry flavored cereal. His personality is he's like a sweet, lovable little ghost who often scares himself.
That's cute.
And he's voiced by Paul Frees, who is another one of those like men of 1,000 voices from the time. He was the voice of the ghost host at the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland, who iconic. He was also the voice of, wow, he does all ghosts now that I think about it.
Oh, has somebody checked on this guy? Has anybody tried to put their hand through him?
All 3 pieces of his resume are ghosts. He was a ghost in Pirates of the Caribbean. He's the one that would say, "Dead men tell no tales."
Yes, iconic.
The ghost host at Haunted Mansion and Boo Berry Ghost.
Okay, someone hold up a mirror to this guy. Something ain't right.
That's so crazy. I didn't even put that together. One thing you should know about Boo Berry, obviously they didn't use a red dye because it was a purple, bluish cereal. They did use blue dye number 1, which does turn your poo green, which I can personally attest to because literally every time I've eaten it my whole life, I'm like, my poo is green, but nobody seemed to care about this one. Like this didn't send people with boo poo to the hospital.
I guess pink is more alarming.
Yeah, because it looks
blue.
like blood.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. So I don't know if anyone else has had this experience, but 100% every time I eat Boo Berry.
Yeah, I've had a few alarming bathroom visits where there's like 10 minutes of panic and Googling that I'm dying, and then a memory of like, oh yeah, I went to a kid's birthday party yesterday and I had cake with blue frosting.
Oh my God, some of those frostings that have like really bright colors, yes those will definitely complicate things. All right, 1974, General Mills is still greedy. They've got 3 monsters now. They want 4. They try adding another monster to the mix. This time his name is Fruit Brute. Does that sound familiar to you at all?
Fruit Brute.
Fruit Brute. Fruit, then eventually spelled Frute, which is a very serial way to spell it. He was kind of a nod to the Wolfman. He had a tagline of bringing howling good taste of fruit to the breakfast table. He was a fruit-flavored cereal with a lime-flavored marshmallow, which a lot of people said not great.
Weird. Kids' favorite flavor, lime? Okay.
He was dismissed as a failure, but he did last for 8 years, so I feel like that is somewhat successful. And what's actually kind of funny about him, he ended up being put in 2 movies.
Put down?
No, put up, made like iconic. Quentin Tarantino apparently liked Fruit Brute so much. You can see boxes of Fruit Brute in Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction.
Wow, that's funny.
Which, you know, I was thinking like when something discontinued, oftentimes it's just forgotten to time, where this is discontinued and is now a part of cinematic history.
Immortalized in the
on
annals
film.
of history.
6 years later, they try again with another fruit cereal. This time it's Fruity Yummy Mummy.
I don't think you need fruity there. I think just call it Yummy Mummy.
I thought every time I read it, I think the same thing. It makes no sense. Just call it Yummy Mummy.
Just call it Yummy Mummy.
We don't care.
Box.
We'll figure it out that it's a fruit. I mean, we got it.
Honestly, I think like the fruit, like it's kind of run its course. Like pick a different flavor.
I also agree. His tagline was "Your tummy go yummy." It was a fruit-flavored cereal with vanilla marshmallows this time. Only lasted 4 years. Count Chocula, the cereals, Franken Berry, and Boo Berry stayed in year-round production. That's something else that I thought was interesting. When these things dropped, they dropped in like spring. They were never a Halloween thing.
I don't think I realized that until you started talking about this.
They were year-round until 2009. And that's when they stopped doing it year-round, and then they started coming out only August to October, which some people might see as like a bad thing, but it also kind of gave them that like seasonal, like iconic status of like the thing that you look forward to
like
every year.
The McRib. Yeah.
100%.
The McRib effect, we'll call it.
I'm surprised you wouldn't pick the pumpkin spice latte
or
the apple macchiato, and you picked the McRib, your most prized meal.
Very off-brand for me.
I always get so excited when I know you're having your first McRib of the year.
I always text you a picture of the glossy McRib in my paw. Ugh.
I mean, I do like a McRib.
When is McRib season?
I don't know. Every year they're like, this is the final tour of the McRib.
Yeah, right.
But I did hear it's coming back.
I mean, of course it's never going to be gone. You know why?
Because
the almighty dollar.
Oh, the almighty dollar. And me. The 2000s is all about collabs and pop culture. Over the years, they team up with brands like Scooby-Doo and Goosebumps and Casper the Friendly Ghost. They start having like artists. They had DC artists like do artwork for their boxes. They even, in like 2015, they had Cause. Do you know Cause, the artist?
No.
Al, you saw Cause when you were at Uniqlo. He's the artist that takes like pop culture things and just put X's over their eyes.
Oh, yeah.
I don't love him. I feel like I'm supposed to like him because he's in that pop culture world. But you know, he's a big artist. So it's
Sure.
like a very cool thing for them to have. They make plushies and Funko Pops and bobbleheads and games and clothing and collabs with like fruit roll-ups. They're just really kind of all over the place
Wow.
at this time. There's
Of
even,
course.
I read 2 articles of 2 different Count Chocula beers that came out, limited edition stouts made with Count Chocula cereal.
Okay.
One of them said the brewery had to buy almost all the Count Chocula in town to make their beer.
Okay, take it easy, guys.
I know. But then the other article said that he needed 40 boxes. I was like, oh, they just didn't get a very big shipment.
Maybe it was a small town.
And then in 2021, for the 50th anniversary, General Mills turned cereal on its head with the most insane promotion I've ever heard of. They sold boxes of Monster Mash. All 5 Monster cereals combined in one glorious box.
Now we're talking. Finally, a good marketing idea. The first one since that lady in the very beginning
Yeah.
pitched these 3 cereals.
I mean, you're pouring a bowl that has chocolate, blueberry, strawberry, fruit, lime, vanilla. I mean, that's a lot.
It does sound like hell, but a Monster Mash is just, it just lends itself so well as a novelty purchase.
It really does. And I love that you brought that up because as part of this promotion, they had all 5 mascots redo the song Monster Mash.
Oh.
And I listened to it yesterday and I gotta say, I think it's better than the original. Like, it's good. And we'll play a little bit for you now.
I was working in my mansion late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight. Franken Berry from his slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise, he did the monster.
I mean, all the guys are in there, and it's like, it's actually really good. If you haven't listened to it, I highly suggest it. It's no longer available on the website, but you can find it on YouTube.
I like to think about you cruising down the highway with your
Cape.
cape on.
My cape, my hair slicked back, just eating a bowl of cereal as I drive. My penis-shaped box, just enjoying a nice fall day.
110-degree autumn day in Los Angeles.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I thought that was a lot of fun. And then, I mean, this is the most recent news before we wrap it all up. Just last year, for the first time in 35 years, they introduced a new monster.
Okay.
Not only that, it is the first female monster. And that's awesome, right? That sounds like it's going to be awesome.
Yeah?
This is 100% a Huizinga.
Oh, no.
I got to tell you, I don't want to end on a Huizinga, but I don't know what else to call this. So this new monster is called... First, I'm going to show you her picture.
Oh.
Okay, so I just showed you what she looks like. Her name is Carmela Creeper. She's a carameled apple-flavored cereal. Sure, that's a very popular flavor now for the season. I hate her. Here's the description of her personality.
Uh-huh.
Carmela is a cool, young, and very capable young zombie.
Capable?
She is Franken Berry's long-lost cousin. What? She's like 20. Like, where's she been lost? And she is back to help bring the rest of the monsters into the 21st century.
Oh, God, I'm in hell.
She is a DJ and loves to host parties at the Haunted Mansion with her friends. I mean, come on.
If you have trouble connecting your phone to Wi-Fi, give it to Carmela. She'll do it in a snap.
I hate everything about her. I haven't
is
tried it. I
terrible.
should have got something to try, but I didn't want to try it. She's just too, like, Gen Z for me. I'm Gen X. I like the old school stuff. I mean, sure, I guess maybe they have to do this.
I mean, you see Franken Berry. He didn't have to be cool. He didn't have to be hot.
He just had to be a big, pink... And that's what we wanted back then.
That's what, sure.
I love that I don't know why I love Franken. I like these monster cereals. One of them looks like a vampire. One of them looks like a huge and the other one's invisible.
Oh, but you know what? Carmela, she's smashing that green ceiling
Oh, God. With her headphones. The headphones are what reminded me of like The Simpsons when they had like Poochie the dog and like he needs to have 20% more attitude and they gave him like black sunglasses.
This is very Poochie. Very Poochie with a girl power edge that does seem quite condescending.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
It's not even like she's like a mad scientist who like, you know, like let's promote like girls in STEM. She's a mad scientist. She's cooking up crazy creations in her monster lab. She's a DJ.
And how is she even a zombie? She like doesn't even like she just looks like a normal person. She has one scar, a stitched scar on her cheek. And that makes
she still looks hot.
And I'm sure someone wrote the copy and like, okay, so she's a cool zombie. And then someone else is like, I don't know. How are they going to know if she's capable? And they're like, okay, she's a cool, very capable young zombie. What does that mean?
When she's not uploading makeup tutorials to her YouTube channel, she's smashing it on the dance floor with all of her zombie besties.
Her favorite unboxing video is unboxing a box of her own cereal. But she'll eat others. She's capable.
Wait, but she's also a zombie.
She's also a zombie, so doesn't, like, what?
Yeah, she devours all of her haters, literally.
Literally.
Hashtag girl power. Hashtag zombie boss.
When she was introduced, they had her remix that Monster Mash song.
Sure.
That had come out a couple years earlier.
Sure.
I didn't even listen to that version because even that, I just want the original. I don't need to hear what Carmella did with it.
I mean, it does seem like it was created by 110-year-old men in a boardroom. So,
Yeah.
no, I certainly wasn't asked on what I need from a female mascot.
It's awful. Hopefully they'll come up with something new. But that's it. That is the story of the monster cereals. It's quite a ride. It takes us from one of the earliest, loudest cereals, Rice Krispies, to the Rice Krispie treats, to introducing marshmallows in a way that I never would have expected.
For sure.
With a circus peanut, you know, the history behind the voices, you know about the pink poo.
I mean, circus peanuts are a candy so disgusting, they almost could have tanked the whole thing. Like, there's an alternate universe where, like, they tasted it. I'm sure it tasted like it was interesting because it was a marshmallow, but if that was your first bite and you're, like, supposed to be sold on, like, a whole new creation, is a circus peanut going to be the flavor to do it?
Of course not. A banana-flavored peanut bit. But you know, for the last 50 years, anyone that works in the circus peanut business,
They love that story.
you're looking at your watch every time that you're having a meal with somebody to see how long it takes for them to tell you that their candy is what created Lucky Charms.
Yeah. It just as easily could have gone like taking a bite and going like, oh God, why is it banana flavored? It's orange.
It is. I
Wild.
mean, it is a fun story, though.
Well, this is going to make an amazing ride in the On-Brand theme park that will open in Cincinnati, Ohio in 2041.
Wait, no, why wouldn't we open it in Cereal City? That has to be where our first live show is. Live from Cereal City. Oh my God, I
wonder
die.
if we have any... Surely we have some fans who live in Cereal City.
If you listen to us from Cereal City, please let us know. Okay, well, now that you know the whole history of Monster cereals, I'm kind of curious. I don't know which way you'll go. But would you say that Monster cereals are on-brand or off-brand for you?
Well, I'm looking at this penis. I like this old-fashioned box. There's elements of it that I really do like. But I haven't ever bought it. So I don't think I can in earnest say that it's on brand for me. And certainly the new iteration of whatever it is that's not this like old school box is definitely not on brand for me. So I'm a soft off brand.
I will say, just to throw in your part of your reasoning, I think part of the show is us introducing each other to new
Sure.
brands. So just because you haven't bought it, would you buy it now?
You know, I think the sight of it in my kitchen would delight me.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I would get Count Chocula.
Yeah, that's the one. He's really he's the guy. He's the one everybody wants.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So soft off.
Only seeing the top of Franken Berry's head, I'm just imagining like a big patch of pubes as
Hey,
it goes.
here's what he-
Oh, God, I don't think that's what I was expecting.
Here's what he looks like. It's not just a penis head. He's a man.
Wait, then why did they make his head shaped like that? It's like reminiscent not at all from like Frankenstein.
Sure it is. Frankenstein's like a big like square head. They just made him a little round head.
Yeah, but he has like bolts in his neck. He has hair. It's just like a tip of a penis
This is a family friendly
or an upside down ball sack. I don't know. It's not a Frankenstein. After seeing that, on brand.
Hard on brand.
Hard on brand.
Hard on. This is the hardest on brand ever.
So, John, after the journey you've taken me on, we're in the little boat on the ride. We're smelling the water of the ride. Is General Mills Halloween cereal on brand for you.
I mean, obviously it's on brand for me. I buy it. I buy it every year when it's on clearance. I only did this episode as an excuse to buy this and be able to turn in a receipt. No, I like it. I think it's fun. It's nostalgic. I think one box a season is good enough.
I swear there was a time where you returned the cereal way far past the season.
It does. Now that you're saying that sounds right, but I don't remember the specifics. If you're able to, I'm happy to share them on pod, but I'm not going to help you remember any of the crazy things that I do. So that's it. That is General Mills, Monster Cereals. We are done with Halloween until next year.
So before we go, I'd like to give some shout outs to some lovely brand freaks who left us 5-star reviews and a few kind words on Apple Podcasts. Mike is a listener, says the podcast is fun and entertaining, has great info too. Love it. Candace H25 says it's her new favorite podcast, brings her so many laughs. Started listening a couple weeks ago and has been working through all the old episodes. Anon A731 is obsessed with the podcast, loves me and Jon. First review ever left, but had to spread the word about the pod. So if you've never left us a review on Apple, please go and do that now. It really helps the show out. And we take screen caps of it and text it to each other, and it lifts our spirits.
Yeah, it really does.
It really does.
I'm not even going to lie. This is going to make me sound psychotic. I did this last night. Sometimes, if I'm like late at night and I can't sleep, I will just look back through reviews that I've already read. Like I'll just read a handful of reviews to make me feel good about myself.
So Jon's well-being is on the line. He needs this.
Am I the only one that does that? You don't do that? Do you just read them once and done? Or do you ever revisit?
I read them once and done.
Really?
Yeah.
You're psychotic. Oh, and as you probably know, we are doing a handful of episodes in advance so Alistair can travel the world, so I can't do our shout-outs for our Insta eggs. But any week that we're not able to do them on the show, I will post them all on our Instagram story, so you can get your shout-out there.
So starting next week, Al will be back from Everest Base Camp, and if you win the Insta Egg Wheel of Freaks, you will get your shout-out on episode. So as I said, if you love the show, please subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts. Leave us a lovely review. You can follow us on Instagram at OnBrandThePod and TikTok at OnBrandThePodcast, where you can play Jon's Insta Egg games. You can see little videos of us and little bonus supplemental stuff over there. And we will be back next week with an all-new episode.
And remember, we may go off topic and talk about monsters looking like penises or poo being pink, but we will always be on brand. Happy Halloween!
Bye!
Bye.
Are you looking for a new job or want a career change? Look no further than Monster.com. Need a little help standing out? Our expert resume writing services will make sure you shine. Want to brush up on your interview skills? Engage with our AI interview prep tool. Want some advice on negotiating your new salary? Visit our salary tools and extensive library of career advice articles, and you'll have all the tips and tricks you'll need to succeed. Visit Monster.com today and take the first step towards your career. Monster.com. Find your right job fit.
If you're looking to streamline your audio advertising buys and maximize your revenue, look no further than Triton Digital's programmatic audio advertising exchange, A2X. The private exchange consists of only licensed broadcasters and top-tier internet radio publishers, assuring the quality inventory and brand safety you can trust. Visit www.tritondigital.com to learn more.